Looting America. That's the focus of tonight's angle. So after college football games wrapped up this weekend, I actually hid the television remotes from my kids. I do that a lot, but especially this weekend, because the footage of the flash mobs looting the stores in the Bay Area and Chicago, and of course the horrific video of that Christmas parade massacre, it's what you have to call it, in Waukesha, Wisconsin. It was just too much ugliness and depravity. Couldn't take it. But then I realized, of course, I have an obligation to explain this all to my kids. And so I told them, look, the stealing is happening because liberal politicians have coddled and glorified radical BLM activists who market grievance and they market resentment nationwide. Now, remember in the summer of 2020, it was Gavin groveling?
For those of you that are out there protesting, I want you to know you matter. And I want you to know I care, we care. You've lost patience, so have I. You are right to feel wronged. You are right to feel the way you are feeling.
Oh, it's just like you want to take a shower after watching him. And who can forget San Francisco's Mayor London Breed, her push for a $120 million cut from the police budget. By the way, for this, she was profiled in Vogue magazine. Now, when reality hit, she pulled back on that idiotic idea. But I was thinking, it's funny how thieves aren't trying this same nonsense in states like Florida or Texas. Instead, they're targeting the Bay Area with Marxist DAs like Chesa Boudin and big cities like Chicago run by corrupt mayors like Lori Lightfoot. Organized criminals and petty thieves know that the chances of being apprehended and actually prosecuted in these cities are slim to none. So 17 months after the unchecked mayhem from the George Floyd riots, stealing couldn't be easier. Slap on a COVID-mandated face mask, pull a hoodie over your head, have a car waiting, you're good to go. Now, under the circumstances created by local incompetence, the police are either being branded as racists or cornered by vaccine mandates. The pro-criminal Soros-supported DAs, the unspoken belief that police just shouldn't respond aggressively to property crime. Now, all of this means it's open season on retail chains just trying to get back on their feet. And the murderous thug who mowed through the parade, well, he should have never been on the streets at all. He had just smashed the mother of his child in the face, ran part of her leg over, and was already out on some low bail amount. Now, lest you think he was just having a rough month, his rap sheet spans decades. Everything from felony strangulation charges to aggravated battery. Oh, he's also a registered sex offender in Nevada, no big deal. So after all of this, including the start of an internal review by the Milwaukee DA to find out why this thug was out on such low bail, well, squad leader AOC, she wants to make things even easier for criminals. She's going after what's called excessive cash bail. Unbelievable. You cannot make this up. Now, of course, the regime media, they move quickly to discount even the possibility of any political motive on the part of that thug. But his lousy rap music is rife itself with violence.
But the suckers listen, put them in the field, we bliss them, shoot out all the ammunition, they move like some caterpillars. Post this on your social feed, addies that extend release. Two cent boy, your talk is cheap, I won't stop till you deceased.
Well, the lyrics, if you can call them that, are all about fury and revenge, the N-words scattered through. You know, but it's all healthy self-expression, would be told in a college seminar on hip-hop. Now, of course, Hollywood, or schools, even corporate America, they're in a constant state of apology over America's past and present. So they've lionized Colin Kaepernick, so-called anti-racism, the BLM movement. And life in our country, we're supposed to believe, is vicious, it's unfair, it's racist, and it's rigged. You go on social media, and you're actually going to see people tonight who have fancy titles next to their names making excuses for looting. We're entitled to what you have. You didn't build that. You don't deserve that. You're living on stolen land. You're racist, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. It's even called consumer reparations. You will not and must not stop them, for if you do, they will cry racism. They will even cry racism if no black person was involved in a high-profile case?
I find these people disgusting, Ellie. I'm disgusted at what I'm seeing. It's not just this trial, it's other trials. But this in particular, the fact that white supremacists roam the halls of Congress freely and celebrate this little murderous white supremacist, and the fact that he gets to walk the streets freely.
It was an injustice. This was worse than the Emmett Till trial.
This idea of white vigilante violence, where white men feel that they have the right to enforce the law themselves. There is a dark edge of people celebrating this.
Of course, that's all about the Rittenhouse trial and verdict. And yes, there are connections among the chaos in the streets after the Blake shooting, the multi-day looting spree, and the parade tragedy. All of these scenarios sprang from a refusal to enforce the laws as written, and the impulse to blame racism as a convenient cover. As low as Biden has stooped these past 11 months, he sunk further into the gutter by leaning into the anger of the left after the Rittenhouse verdict came out. And Harris implicitly agreed that there were racial undertones in Rittenhouse's getting off.
The verdict really speaks for itself. As many of you know, I've spent a majority of my career working to make the criminal justice system more equitable, and clearly there's a lot more work to do.
Now, talk about a hit and run. She spews her acidic accusations about our country, then she scoots away. Can't risk being asked real questions by real reporters, can we? Now, the fact is, everything we warned you about during the 2020 campaign is now happening to the country we love. We warned you that efforts to defund the police would lead to fewer cops in more dangerous streets. We warned you of how COVID shutdowns and of all the businesses and schools would hurt, not help. We warned you that politicized school boards would ruin school curricula. We warned you that inflation would be permanent unless Biden left Trump's policies in place. We warned you that race relations would worsen when frauds tried to turn us against our own history and traditions. Yet, there are encouraging signs that Americans just don't want to live in the type of society that the Democrats, captive to the far left, are building for us. African Americans are beginning to leave Chicago. Hispanics are voting Republican, and now Asians are turning to the GOP. More parents are voting with their feet and their school tuition dollars. So congrats, Democrats. This might be the last generation of Christians who send their kids to public schools. The left is determined to turn all of them into woke re-education camps. The world the left is building is depressing and it's cynical. One where they don't even want families to have many children anymore. One where their response to every problem is A, to say America is racist and deserve whatever happens, B, raise taxes and redistribute money to their cronies, or C, to encourage Americans to lower their standard of living and their expectations. The radical movement that the left started and that the Democrats stupidly adopted is designed to tear down the entire country. But now they're beginning to tear themselves down, too. Look at the polls. One's worse than the next for the Democrats. Of course, the real victims of the looting and the lawlessness aren't the wealthy. It's the people who work in the stores and own nearby businesses. A lot of these stores won't open again. And why should they? As usual, modern-day liberalism sacrifices the middle class for the whims and convenience of the super rich. Next year, the Democrats' nonstop smash and grab will finally come to an end, though. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.